Hey guys, welcome back to Cell Talk. This is your host, Christian. I have Palm Beach Stem Cell owner, Ben, and then our special guest, Gary Brugman. Gary, give us a little introduction about yourself.
Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York.
Can't tell from the accent, sorry.
I've lost a lot of it, actually. But people always get me on words like walking and talking, especially when I want a cup of coffee.
Walking here.
But born and raised in New York City, 89, joined the Coast Guard, served for 9 years until 1998. Went down to the Border Patrol in South Texas. Was there for a few years, ran into a situation, and just been living life ever since, man.
All right. Tell us a little bit about your history in the Coast Guard.
Well, I went in 89, and I was a bosun's mate. Served on my first station was Key West. I was on a ship out of Key West, Florida, called the Mohawk. It was a big 270, nice. And it was a brand new ship, so we're plank owners. Okay. You know, so it was pretty cool. We went and picked up the ship in Rhode Island, did all the trials. At that time, did a lot of the stuff down in Haiti. We did a lot of search and rescue, and after that, went to base Miami Beach. Hurricane Andrew came through, wiped everything all out back in
93,
92,
92,
and then ended up at Station Fort Lauderdale for a while. So was there for a minute, and eventually transferred back up to New York and did a lot of search and rescue and stuff up there. I was up there when TWA Flight 800 went down over Long Island, which was a big 747. Yeah. Blew up 17,000 feet in the air on takeoff. Oh, so yeah, I was a second boat on scene for that. And that was a mess, but yeah, it was a good career. Coast Guard. The reason I got out of the Coast Guard at that time was because it was during the Clinton administration, and he wasn't very pro-military. He was pro-law enforcement.
Not military
he shut down a whole bunch of bases, including Governor's Island. So I was afraid I was going to get riffed. So there was no money in the military. I was seeing chiefs and everybody retire, and then having to go get jobs. So I was like, I need a better. So that's why I got out and went into the Border Patrol.
It's kind of the same thing, right? You know, I think like 2012-ish, 2013, I think kind of. Right around that time, there was a big mass exodus from the military. Mm-hmm. We got Key West.
Hey, Key West, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Late 80s, 90s.
Oh man, it was different. Let me tell you. You were either in the military, an alcoholic, or gay.
Which one were you?
Hold on, let me think.
A, B, C, D, all the above?
Was Irish Kevin's around back then?
Yeah, there were a bunch. Oh my dude, you walk down Duval Street, and everybody just had a flat top because it was a big Navy base. Yeah. Big Navy base. You had Boca Chica. You had the Coast Guard. You had the Marine detachment there. You had EOD.
Yeah.
You know,
my uncle was EOD.
Yep. And I mean, it was everybody down there just had flat tops. Oh, you know, and you know, last time I was there was actually 2007. And it had gotten really like ghetto because, you know, there was no more military. The military that's there was so small now. You know, they closed Trumbull Point. You know, they closed Truman Annex. A lot of the Navy guys are gone. So basically what you have down there are a few Navy guys and, you know, a few Coast Guard guys. And you can tell the difference.
Well, in the Key West, the locals, the
conks,
they're special.
Yes, they are.
They're special.
Yes, they are.
But we've had a lot of good fun times in Key West. I mean, it's always a trip. What about Miami and Fort Lauderdale? You get a lot of drug intercepts?
Yeah, we base Miami Beach. We had a lot of search and rescue. Did a lot of port security there, a lot of rescue there. But back in Fort Lauderdale, we chased a lot of drugs down there.
I can imagine.
Yeah, we watched them coming in from Bimini. Plus, we had an operation going on back then. I don't remember the name of the operation, but we used to have a customs helicopter, Blue Thunder, and basically it was just a Black Hawk, and we'd be chasing drug runners coming from the Bahamas. They turn around, we chase until they ran out of fuel, you know, and we'd have a customs helicopter and a Coast Guard helicopter.
So I gotta get into this next part just because I'm noticing it, but tell us, I don't want to say, I'm gonna let you tell it, but what brought you in today?
Today. So, as you know, I came back My buddy Clayton recommended me to come here back in October. I was coming to Mar-a-Lago for an event. And back in 2021, I almost died of COVID. I got trached. Was on a ventilator for 17 days. They say the ventilator ate up a lot of my sinuses inside, which is why I'm having this. You hear me trying to clear my throat. And he recommended me come here because he thought stem cells would be a good. I had never heard of it. Would definitely help me because
I was gonna ask, what did you know about stem cells?
I didn't know anything about. I thought you were trying to clone people. You know, I was like, I want you to make me a Leonard Nimoy. You know. But I came down here and Clayton hooked me up with you and we talked and you gave me that first treatment back in October and I couldn't believe for the first time in 3 years I could breathe.
Yeah.
And because I lose my breath. My breath was so short. I mean, one of the toughest things that I do on a daily basis, one of the regular things that I do is take a shower. You know, taking a shower and drying myself off. Man, it's like I'm running a marathon.
Yeah.
You know, and by the time I dry off, I'm like, I mean, and even bending over to tie my shoes. I don't know why, but bending over to tie my shoes takes all my energy.
Compression on the diaphragm.
Is that what it is? Because I don't know. I'm like, why am I out of breath tying my shoes?
I remember, I mean, the first time we spoke on the phone, I mean, you could barely get through a sentence.
Yeah.
I mean, every 3, 4, or 5 words was.
Yeah. I mean, it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
And I came down that first time back in October. And after you gave me the treatments, I couldn't believe how much better I could breathe. And I was still breathing I called you and I told you the rest of that day, I was still breathing shallow because for the last 3 years, I was breathing that way.
You're used to it.
Yeah, my lungs were just used to breathing that way. I was like, hold on a second. And then I would come and take a breath. I was like, I can freaking breathe.
I mean, your heart rate dropped after that first treatment, 20, 30 beats.
Mm-hmm.
And you were around 120 just sitting here talking or not even talking, just sitting here. And after treatment, you were in low 80s, if not 80 flat. And I mean, that itself is...
My normal heart rate during the day is averaging about 112 to 115. And right now I'm at...
Could be up now because you're talking.
Yeah, 98.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And you're talking a lot.
Yeah.
You said the most things in this. So, I mean, Ben, you want to talk about what treatment he got?
Yeah, I mean, so we did exosome infusion, so systemic infusion, and then nebulization. I mean, I hate to put it this way, but kind of a standard post-COVID protocol, but effective.
Yeah.
Effective.
I mean, I'm proof right here. I can breathe now.
Yeah.
And I can't get through a sentence without huffing and puffing.
Yeah, I mean, even from when you walk through the door to how you sound now is night and day difference. But I guess give us the events that led up to all that.
To COVID?
Well, yeah, I mean, you got one hell of a backstory.
Which one are we talking about? Talking about my pardon?
Yeah, we want all the tea.
I mean, we got to get into that, but yeah, tell us about your Border Patrol experience.
So, from the Coast Guard, I literally transitioned straight into the Border Patrol. My discharge date after 9 years was February 22nd of 1998. February 22nd was a Sunday in 1998. On Monday, February 23rd at 10 a.m., I was swearing into the Border Patrol. I spent 10 hours unemployed.
Wow.
And went to the academy in South Carolina, came back to Eagle Pass, Texas, and it was a great career. I was bilingual, so I didn't have a problem with the Spanish. And had a great career. Taught a bunch of classes. I loved it. I loved being green. My blood is green. You know, honor first. That's their motto, and that's basically what I live by. In 2001, chased a group of 15 illegal aliens, and they were getting away from me. And another, we had backup coming. Another agent and his trainee got ahead of me. The trainee ran and caught the group. It was 15. He was trying to get them to sit down. Not all of them were complying. Some were sitting, some were standing. He was trying to get them to sit down. There were 2 behind him that were squatting. And I didn't know. It was dark out. We were in a pecan orchard. And I didn't know if they were going to try to run because they had already been apprehended. So it would have been an escape. That's a lot of paperwork. And that's a lot of paperwork. Yeah, FBI involved. You have an escapee. Oh, my God. Or if they were going to jump the agent. He was a trainee. He had his back completely turned.
Yeah.
So I was still chasing them. I ran up, I flanked them, did as I was taught. Put my hand on my weapon, used my leg as an extension of my arm, and I pushed them, knocked them on their ass from the squatting to the sitting position. Didn't wind up the leg to Cincinnati and, kick a field goal or anything like that. No, not like, pushed them, knocked them on their ass. I wasn't gentle about it, I admit that. Well, apparently, I violated the guy's civil rights in doing that. So they brought me up on charges, 18-month investigation, brought me to trial. Lost the trial, was found guilty, stayed out on bond pending an appeal for about a year. Lost the appeal because the Fifth Circuit Court says they don't think I used excessive force, but they think my intent was malicious. How do you know what my intentions are? Anyway, so ended up going to prison for 2 years. So I was in prison from 04 to 06, 5 different prisons. One actually not too far from here in Coleman, Florida.
I don't know where that is.
I don't know that.
Yeah, it's if you take Ocala and Tampa and make lines like this, that's where it's at.
Okay. Yeah.
So Coleman, Florida, that's where I started at. That was actually my 3rd prison. And then I ended up at the penitentiary in Atlanta because I got jumped there, and then finished out at Yazoo City, Mississippi. It was like...
Why'd you get moved around so much?
So I got picked up in San Antonio. I got processed there, got sent on Con Air to Oklahoma City, which is a transfer center, because that's where they send you until they decide where they're going to send you.
Is it like it was in the movies?
Yes. Yes.
Or I should say the movie.
The movie. It was a little better plane,
yeah,
but it was still a piece of junk. If you ever see airlines that you never heard of that says Planet Airways, that's Con Air. Yeah.
Good to know.
And but you are shackled to the ground, shackled to the floor, and around the waist at your feet, and just a whole bunch of cons. And I think it was a DC-8, so they loaded it from the back.
Yeah.
And when we landed it was funny, when we landed in Oklahoma, the pilot that we had was an old fighter pilot. Right now he's a commercial pilot for the federal government. So like when you're coming in for a landing on a plane and you get real low and you start seeing like the telephone poles and everything, right? And when you're coming into the airport and you're like banking, right? And you see the ground on one and the sky on the other. Well, combine those, right? This dude's banking and I'm looking down and I'm seeing telephone poles like right there. I'm like, oh my God, we gonna die. And
so when you're on a commercial flight, if it was a retired naval aviator. Or,
by the way, he
you come off the ground and
go vertical,
or they just come in
and bam, hit that. That's an aircraft carrier stop. Yeah. No, but this guy, all of a sudden, he straightens up. We hit the ground like on an aircraft carrier. Inmates back and forth like this, right? And he's like, "Hold on tight." That was his announcement. And he says, "Welcome to Oklahoma City." So we taxi through Oklahoma City.
They still give you the time, the weather, everything?
No, they didn't on us. They didn't on us.
Stewardess on the plane?
That was carrying shotguns.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
No snack?
No snack.
So it's like Spirit.
Yeah, exactly. And but this was the part that really got me. You taxi, you get to the terminal, the jetway comes out, and they start walking out. When you walk into the jetway, you're already in prison. There are a bunch of Bureau of Prison guys there unshackling you and walking you in. Wow. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So from there, I went to Coleman. I got jumped in Coleman. So I didn't catch a case because I got jumped.
You got jumped because they knew you were border patrol?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a Mexican population that got me. But ironically, it was another Mexican buddy of mine that told me they were going to do it. So I was kind of waiting for him. Yeah. And 2 guys ended up getting their melon split. And I didn't catch a case because I was technically the victim. But they did elevate my security level. So they sent me to the penitentiary in Atlanta.
Gotcha.
Which on the inside we call Castle Grayskull. And I was there for a while. While I was there for like maybe 3 months. And it's a high security. While I was there, they stabbed like 4 dudes and burned the kitchen twice. Yeah, it was a mess. And from there, they downgraded me down to a medium in Yazoo City, Mississippi. That's where I finished out.
So how,
all this from pushing the guy on the ground.
And I, you were obviously, and it sounds like you're still very dedicated to Border Patrol.
I bleed green.
How did you feel going through that process? Did you feel
betrayed? Betrayed, but not by the Border Patrol, because it wasn't the Border Patrol that prosecuted me. So the guy that I pushed on the ground, there's a process, and if he's got a complaint, he'll tell one of our supervisors. Supervisors will bring in the Mexican consulate. They'll chit chat, hear the guy's story, and they'll decide whether to move forward or give him a reprimand or let it go. Well, this guy saw the Mexican consulate as he was walking on the way out, and he spoke to the consulate. Consulate left the building, went to the U.S. attorney. U.S. attorney went to the office of the inspector general. Inspector general came down on my ass. So yeah. So
and what year was this?
2001.
2001.
Yeah, this was the incident happened in January. By the time this happened, it was March, and so it was still 6 months before 9/11.
Yeah.
Wow.
9/11 hadn't even happened yet. So, which pissed me off even more because I was under investigation when this happened in my hometown. All my friends, all my fellow agents going out to different places to go serve, getting deployed to, because they moved them everywhere.
You couldn't, yeah.
I had to sit there and watch cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, so it was kind of crazy. And I got out in 2006, and I had a bunch of jobs. I had a couple of businesses. I had a Maco tool truck. I worked at Harley. I drove oil tankers in the oil field for a long time, started doing real estate. And once President Trump got elected, one of my friends, who's a radio talk show host, Joe Pags, he's syndicated, and he's been in my corner ever since 2006 when I met him. Never forgot about me. He hooked me up with this guy named Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Adicott, who's a professor of law at St. Mary's University, and he filed my pardon petition. And being I had been a long time, and I've built up a little network of contacts, man, everybody started pushing it, and President Trump finally signed my pardon back in 2020. Never expected it to happen. It's not easy to get a presidential pardon.
Oh, I can imagine.
And I know it seems like they just give them out, but they decide who they're going to do it. You have no control over it. For me to actually apply and work it and get one is a big feat, and because it's just, it don't happen.
So what would you say, getting the pardon out? Because, 2006, you get out, you're a felon.
Mm-hmm.
I know that makes life.
I was bitter.
Yeah.
I was really, really bitter. Not to mention when I got out, I was kind of institutionalized too. Yeah. Man, you couldn't look at me sideways without us getting to a fisticuff,
So what did getting that pardon do for you?
A lot. Well, when I got the pardon, I couldn't believe it. And then, I processed it. And the day I got the pardon, it was announced about 7:30 p.m. on December 23rd of 2020, Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas.
Right? Yeah. So around 7:30, immediately, as soon as I hung up the phone from being informed, my phone started blowing up. I didn't know I knew that many people. I got over 3,500 text messages.
Oh my God.
People I didn't even know. I got over almost 2,500 phone calls. I had to shut my phone because it just wouldn't stop.
Where is this being announced?
All over. A lot of people were watching it, but once people found out, they started spreading the news. Mm-hmm. I got calls from Border Patrol agents that I worked with, obviously. Mm-hmm. I got calls from Border Patrol agents that says, hey, I've been a Border Patrol agent for so long, and I was stationed with this guy, or this guy was my academy instructor, and I've heard about you. Congratulations. And I got several calls that says, hey, I've been in the Border Patrol for 10 years, and you're the whole reason I went in the Border Patrol. Wow. Your story was why I became a Border Patrol agent. And these are guys I didn't even know.
So I'm assuming they're telling your story,
mm-hmm.
Is, hey, precautionary or...
yeah, well, they teach about me in the academy now, my case. So they've had to revise it. And my case actually started a lot of controversy in the Department of Homeland Security, because they would teach about my case, and people that didn't know me, they would read the case. The government doesn't make you sound good because they won, mm-hmm. right? So this guy abused an illegal alien, and he ruthlessly and maliciously did. So the guys, I was part of the use of force continuum. when they were recertifying every year, when they had to recertify the use of force, they talk about my case. So guys that didn't know me were going by the curriculum, what they were told. But you had people that were sitting there that know me, and they're like, that's bullshit, and they would actually get into a back and forth. And then you had the other side, you had people that knew me that had to teach this. And they would say, they teach what they had to do, the curriculum, then be like, okay, now close the door, take off your hats. This is what really happened. Wow. So yeah, and I got those phone calls a lot. They were like, dude, you're not gonna believe what I just had to do, So, but now they've revised it where they said they have to say that I got a pardon over it and they, whatever, but yeah.
So,
it's a big mess, man.
It sounds like it.
Oh, I can't imagine. So what kind of doors, if any, did that pardon open up for you?
So for the first time, this time right now, and last time I was here, I managed to tell President Trump this. I told him, for the first time, I'm going to be able to vote for you. I wasn't able to vote for 18 years, So I voted once before, but it was just like local elections. And I thank President Trump for that. And then now again, I was able to vote in the president. This is the first presidential I've been able to vote for since
2000, probably.
Yeah, 2000, 2000, yeah, or that time frame. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but yeah, it was. I think it was George Bush and Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
Bush Clinton, yeah.
Yeah.
Give us your experience with Trump.
Oh man.
I know there's a video out there with you telling him.
Yes.
And believe it or not, you're our second patient we've had that's been pardoned by him.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's bullshit. I want to be a first. What kind of Mickey Mouse operation is this?
We had one other that was nonviolent drug offense, first arrest.
Right.
I think he served 18 years of a 20.
No kidding.
Yeah. Said he.
That's rough.
Said he petitioned the Obama administration for many years.
I didn't even bother.
Nothing, and then petitioned the Trump administration and got pardoned.
Nice.
Yeah.
Trump cares. Trump, he's a genuine person. He really cares. I got invited to the White House after I got my pardon, but he invited me up there on January 6th of 2021. So when all that happened at
hectic day.
Yes. When all that happened at the Capitol, I was actually in the White House.
Oh my God.
So I was supposed to see him there, but I never got the opportunity because once he was done, they brought him into whatever situation room or whatnot.
You didn't get to
get to meet them.
No.
A couple of months later, I got invited to a town hall down in McAllen, Texas, where he was showing up with Sean Hannity and the governor of Texas, Governor Abbott. And at the end, he was signing hats. And he was 8 feet away from me. I was like, I couldn't help it. So I yelled out to him.
That was a video.
Yeah, I showed you. Yeah.
Okay, yep.
And I yelled out to him, and he recognized me, and I thanked him for the pardon. And you got a pardon. He's got to love me. And in true Trump fashion, he's got to love me. I told him,
he's not a subtle man.
No, he don't care. And and then he comes up, and I told him I was a border patrol. He goes, "What's your name?" I said, "Gary Brugman." He goes, "Oh, I know you." And then I got to see him again when I was here, and he actually came out and it was right after his assassination attempt. So Secret Service was like on it, dude.
Yeah.
He was saying something, and I leaned in to listen. I said, "I'm sorry," and they kind of like pushed me back, and he was like, "No, it's good." And he actually stuck his hand out and shook my hand, but they wouldn't let me take a picture with him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know. I've heard from a few others. Security is tight right now.
Yeah.
But...
Well, we got here last night, and I was going to drive past Mar-a-Lago. You can't do that right now.
Oh, I'm
Is
sure.
it a one-lane road?
Yeah, there's no local traffic only. You got to live there.
So I show an ID.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a sheriff's checkpoint, and you can't go that way.
Mm.
So when I'm done here, I'm going to drive down there to this end, and I'm sure you can't get across the bridge, but I'm going to show her Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, it's a sight to see.
Yeah, you got to see Mar-a-Lago. I've had the privilege of going there twice. The first time I went 3 days in a row, and then this last time I went twice. So I've been there 5 times. It's pretty awesome.
And even kind of tying in, I've heard that the administration and the family is pretty big proponents of these treatments that we did for you.
Yes.
which is kind of brings it all full circle.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about the COVID piece. So how did all that transpire?
So I was at an event here in Florida, in Orlando.
It wasn't us.
It wasn't. And
COVID didn't exist in Florida.
No.
It was a big fundraiser, and what we didn't know at the time, because several people caught COVID real bad at this thing, and it was at a big hotel in Orlando. What we didn't know, we found out later, was the hotel staff had COVID, and everybody ended up getting it from the hotel staff. So anyway, and they were the ones serving us, you know. So I went home, and I felt a little tickle in my throat. And I was taking care of my mom at this time. I was my mom's caretaker. And I had a little tickle in my throat, and I was like, this ain't right. I started having a little cough, no big deal. And I checked my temperature, and I was like 99. I was like, not too bad. But the next day, I started having a little more cough, so I went to the VA. VA was packed with people with COVID. And they said, we'll give you a test, but we can't admit you because we're way behind. Mm-hmm. So we'll call you tonight, let you know what the results are. In the meantime, go pick up a Z-Pack, and we'll let you know. All right. So I went, got the Z-Pack. They called me that night, said I tested positive, and start the Z-Pack. So I did. And they said, if you don't feel good tomorrow, come back. We'll take it from there. I said, okay. Next morning, still remember, it was a Thursday. I woke up with 104.2 fever, and I was freezing, wrapped up in my blankets, but I was sweating. Yeah. I was freezing and sweating and melting at the same time. And I got up, and I was confused. I didn't know what to do. Called a nurse friend of mine. She says, I'm sending you an ambulance. I'm like, no, I got to take care of my mom. My mom's in bed. She was 88 years old. And ambulance got there, full hazmat suits. By the time they got there, my fever was at like 105.6. Oh my God. Yeah. And they immediately put me on like forced oxygen, started doing EKGs. I don't remember much, but I think I said, Mom, somebody's coming to take care of my friend Kevin and Patty were coming to take care of my mom. They put me in the ambulance, and I still remember they were frantically working on me. And as I lied there, and I remember the ambulance taking off, and everything started getting really bright, like an overexposed picture. And there was a guy taking care of me, and there was another guy there, and he was a lieutenant. I said, Lieutenant, everything's getting really bright. I think I'm dying. And then next thing I know, it was 3 weeks later. And I woke up, and I'm like, where the hell am I? Now, apparently, between the time I passed out and the time they put me on a ventilator, I did wake up for about 8 hours. Somehow I handled all my business. I made an Instagram post. Mm-hmm. I talked to a bunch of people. I was doing real estate at the time, and I had 2 deals going on, and I passed the deals off to somebody else. I'd handled all my business.
And you have
no idea. Don't remember any of it.
Wow.
My friend,
you were probably delirious from the fever.
I didn't know what was happening. My friend Sarah Carter from Fox News, her husband Marty says, "Dude, I talked to you for like a half hour." I said, "When?" "Well, you were not." I said, "I don't remember that. I don't remember nothing." And I got and I got pictures that I took. I guess I was documenting. Don't remember nothing. I woke up in a different hospital. So they put me under in one hospital in San Antonio, and when I was in the other hospital, the doctor that put me on a ventilator came to see me, and I'm like, "Who are you?" "Dr. Taylor. I'm the one to put you on a ventilator." I said, "Okay." And he's like, "I heard you were still here. I live in the area, so I figured I'd come visit you." He goes, "I need you to enjoy your new life because you're not supposed to be here." Wow. He goes, as soon as we put you on the ventilator, we looked at each other. We were like 3-4 days because we thought you were done. Wow. You know, apparently they were putting ice packs in my crotch to bring my fever down. Yeah. When they put me on the ventilator, apparently they put you in a medical coma. Mm-hmm. Apparently I was resisting the sedatives. I was trying to pour everything out. And they put me in a medical paralysis because I woke up paralyzed. I couldn't move. I was trached. I had a trach. I couldn't move. I was looking around. And I remember I was like, where am I? And I looked out the door and I saw a nurse walk by, and I tried to call out, and I was like, this is a dream. And it was, I was having such vivid dreams, daydreams, night dreams. You know, me and my buddy JP Cervantes, he's a retired Special Forces warrant officer, lives in North Carolina. He does a lot of child rescues. Man, me and him were flying in Black Hawks. He was ziplining down and ziplining me up in the Black Hawk. We were going to Colombia, and I had a grenade machine gun. And we were rescuing kids and blowing up limousines.
Oh, wow.
We had a pilot named Paloma. Never met a pilot named Paloma. But let me tell you, up in here,
That might be a movie pitch.
I'm telling you, up in here, I can see the Black Hawk, and I can see the rivets on the Black Hawk. And I can see his company name on the Black Hawk, black on black, all that right here. I still remember what Paloma looks like.
That's wild.
It was crazy, yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, vivid dreams. And then I was paralyzed, and I was in the hospital a total of 72 days. I had to learn to walk again. Had to learn to move my hands. I couldn't make a fist. And since then, the three major issues that I have, the VA put me on a program called a COVID convalescence program. Man, but all it was, every other month, I would go in, take a pulmonary test. They'd have a doctor call me, and she was a nice doctor. She'd tell me, give me all these medicines, and but nothing really helped. She was giving me Montelukast. It's something for like asthma, supposed to clear your lungs. Never helped me. You know, so I dropped out of that program because I was like, you're not helping me. You're just,
yeah.
And their response was, they don't know enough about COVID. They don't know enough about COVID to process it.
What year is this again?
22.
Okay.
22 and 23.
So really, it's not even that long ago.
Mm-mm. So the three major things that I have, issues that I have from COVID are, I got fluid around my heart, right? I got fluid around my heart, which is why my heart rate's so accelerated. According to them, what they told me, my heart's pretty healthy, but it's beating overtime because it can't expand as much because of the fluid around my heart. So it's working overtime, which is why my heart rate's always high. Kind of makes sense, I guess, right? But they've done all kinds of tests on my heart. They said my heart's good. It's just that fluid. I was like, so can't you like pop it? And they're like, no, it don't work like that.
You can't drain that?
No, it don't work like that. And then they kept telling me I got a severe lung infection, which is why I can't breathe. And the thing that bothers me the most, other than the not breathing part, is my sinuses. I feel like I have this Elmer's glue deep inside my head that I can't get out. And it's mucus, and it affects my breathing because I don't understand. Sometimes it goes down into my lungs, and I can feel the rumble in my lungs, and I just can't get that mucus out no matter what I try. Mucinex, whatever it is, anything won't come out. And it's just like thick Elmer's glue I got back there, and it keeps me from breathing. It's like I couldn't lie down because I felt like I was drowning, and I literally drowning.
Yeah. So, I mean, really prior to this, nothing's been effective.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I what is kind of blowing me away right now, and I think what you're going to look back and see is how much you just spoke here in the last 20. Yeah.
I was just going to tell you that. Yesterday when I got here, I was trying to tell you a story, and I was like, and again, I got that muscle memory in my lungs where I'm trying to keep.
You're used to shallow breathing.
I'm used to shallow breathing, yeah.
I mean,
that happened to me last time. I was just take a deep breath. Freaking great.
So what would you, based on your experience with stem cells so far, I mean, what would you say to people that are considering it or that are not familiar with it or, you know, have heard stories, you know, what's your kind of takeaway from this?
Well, like I said, I didn't know anything about stem cells. From what you've educated me and from what I've seen, especially since the second treatment, I'm a believer. I mean, I'm a believer. It's helped me. Even my last treatment, I was really bad when I first got here. Yeah. And my last treatment made me feel so much better. And that lasted me 8 weeks. Right on the money, just like you said, you know. And now I was excited to come get this treatment. I was so excited to come get this treatment that I did a fundraiser. I did a fundraiser, and thank you everybody who donated. Oh my God, so many people, and it wasn't like little donations either. I got a couple of small donations, which is great because everything helps.
Oh yeah.
But everybody else was like in the hundreds because they want me to breathe.
That's awesome.
You know, but yeah, I'm a firm believer in stem cells. And like I said, I thought you were just trying to clone people. But no, man, I haven't felt better than this breathing right now. It's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's whatever it is, it's real.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we see a lot of patients in similar circumstances where, the traditional treatments just don't work for them. And we end up being a last resort, even though I don't think we should be a last resort. I think we should be a primary option, but it's not out there like it should be.
Right.
So I think the big push for us, and, one of the reasons we're doing this and we want to talk to patients and get the feedback and the testimonials is so people are aware that this is available. It is out there, that there are options. It's not scary. It's not weird. I mean, what did we do today that was, was anything painful, uncomfortable?
I didn't like the chainsaw treatment, and hook me up to that battery charger was totally inappropriate.
You consented to all that when you filled out the paperwork.
We have the paperwork.
Yeah, you consented to all that.
I mean, I thought it was gonna be a couple of alligator clips and a 9-volt. That's not what I had.
You never used a safe word.
No, man, it's just like a regular doctor's appointment. I mean, it's simple.
Yeah,
it's simple. It's a stick and breathing in my case. And I wanted more. I was like, oh, this is great. I mean, as I was getting the treatment, I can feel the difference,
the change.
Yeah.
For Gary, Ben, you can kind of clear up on this. How many more? Obviously, if he can continue to do this consistently, that would be extremely beneficial. But for him, what do you think? Like the next few, how many more do you think until he notices a very a longer outstanding goal?
Well, I mean, the first one went miles. I mean, it really did. I was even surprised with how well you responded to the first one. This next one, we're gonna have to see. I mean, are you perfect? Are you healed? No, but we've been able to make an impact. We've been able to make a difference.
Right.
And hopefully with a few more treatments, we can just take that even farther. So, try to get you back in 30 days, 60 days, whatever that time frame. Because I appreciate you coming all the way to Florida just to get this done. I know you're not driving down the street.
No.
So
to me, it's worth it.
Yeah, you got work, you got a home life, so whatever we can do is going to be beneficial for you. But
what needs to happen is that they need to approve this so that people can get it under insurance. This would be so fantastic. But it's like ivermectin. They don't want it there because it helps. It works.
Well, I mean, we touched on it a little bit. I mean, this new administration, my understanding is they're very friendly to this stuff, that they want to take a lot of the restrictions off, that they want to get it out to more people, just like peptides, psychedelics, some of the other stuff that we deal in that, again, can really, really help people.
Right.
But one, the general knowledge is not out to the public yet about what it is and what it can do, and that it's not voodoo medicine, that it's not scary. It's just an alternative for patients. Right. that they need to be able to have the choice of, hey, this has not worked for me, I would like to try this.
Right.
That's what it really comes down to, is people need the freedom to be able to choose what treatments that they want to go. If they want to go down a traditional medicine route, by all means. If they want to try some alternative treatments, which this is what we would consider an alternative treatment, but it's effective. Is it going to work for everybody? Is it going to cure everything? No, but you're a testament to what it can do and what it's capable of.
I swear by it. I swear by it. I mean, again, listen to my breathing right now compared to this morning when I came in. And this morning when I came in, I was having issues breathing, but I was still better than when I first came in to get the last treatment. So
we also had a little bit of a a doozy this morning at the hotel too. You were running up and downstairs.
Yeah, yeah. That didn't help. I wasn't happy.
Wasn't your type of morning cardio.
No. Going down 9 flights of stairs. No.
Yeah, no fun. We kind of left out a big part of Gary's story too, of you being in Trump's movie. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about that? I mean, the last time you were down here, you were going to the party for the movie.
Yes, the premiere. Yes, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So I've got a friend of mine, very good friend of mine, Christopher Martini, who's a director. He's Max Martini's brother. Mm-hmm. And he's been filming me for years because he's been wanting to make a documentary on me, but we don't have the funds. It says it's gonna be at least $350,000.
Wow.
At least. So, but he goes, but when we do get the money, you know, whether we crowdfund it or whatever, I want to have a bunch of footage. So he's been filming me since 2020. Because I first met him in 2019 when I was in New York because he wanted to meet me, and it was a year before my pardon. Because I wasn't pardoned yet, because part of the whole movie was to get a pardon. Mm-hmm. So I met him in 2019, and he's been filming since 2020. So he has a whole bunch of footage, and he calls me up and he says, "Hey, I can't tell you what I'm doing. I got NDAs and stuff." He goes, "But I need your permission to use your footage." I was like, "Okay." He goes, "You got to trust me on this one." I said, "Okay." So I gave him the green light, and then a couple of 2 weeks before I came here, back in October. He's like, "Listen, the movie's coming out. It's a movie called The Man You Don't Know. It's a documentary on Donald Trump. It's done with Global Ascension Studios. It's a well-produced movie. I'm the director. I managed to get 2 minutes of your story in the movie." I was like, "No way." And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Your movie, I still want to make your movie. Your movie's still a go. But for some reason we never do, I want to make sure I get your story out there somehow." Yeah. So he put it in the movie, and then he invited me to the premiere. And I was like, "Yes, Mar-a-Lago."
So, another time.
You know what? I would go to Mar-a-Lago to do the dishes.
Those gold dishes.
Yes. It was funny. The first time I went there in 2023, I was on a different mission. I work in a security gig, and I went there, and it was kind of raining and drizzling. I walked in, and they had the restaurant inside and everything, and we had dinner, and it was great. The next morning, we went back for breakfast, and all the tables were outside, and it's set up like a living room, and there's a model of Trump Force One, and I'm like, "Wasn't this a restaurant last night?" And they're like, "Oh no, we just brought the tables in. They're usually outside. This is the president's living room." I was like, "This is it." Yeah, he goes, "Yeah, he'll sit here and watch TV." I was like, "Whoa."
Having his McDonald's and his Diet Cokes.
Yes, and it was funny because that was NRA weekend, so again, he wasn't there. But they said it was really great because the whole club is his house. Mar-a-Lago is his house, but it's also a club, right?
The Winter White House.
Yes. Said and he says on the weekends, when he's home and not doing anything on the weekend, he's got a DJ every weekend, and he'll get up there with the DJ and start slinging records. I was like, I would love to see this.
Some YMCA.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing the Trump dance.
Exactly.
Gotta love it.
I mean, his initials are DJ.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So it all makes sense now.
It's amazing. So
hilarious.
yeah, I mean, I do interviews, and I do a lot of political interviews, and everybody's like, "Well, aren't you biased because Donald Trump?" I said, "Absolutely,
hell yeah,
absolutely." I'm not ashamed of saying that I'm on Donald Trump's side. Yeah. To me, the man can do no wrong. I mean, obviously there's wrong to do, but it's funny. I said one time in an interview, I was like, if the cocaine was found in Donald Trump's, it's just cocaine.
Snort it with him.
Yeah, right. So what? But yeah, no, he's a great man. He changed my life. And getting back to your thing that you said last time, I was able to vote. That's what pardon changed for me. But also, I got my gun rights back, got my Second Amendment's right back, and I've been doing personal security ever since. Executive protection.
Be the only person in Texas without a gun.
You know how hard that was? Oh my God!
I can imagine.
That leftist over there,
bro. Let me tell you, it's like everybody. A lot of people don't get it, And I ride a lot of motorcycles, right, with a lot of people in motorcycle clubs, and there've been some situations where people get kicked out of the club. And they're like, yeah, man, that's crap, this, that, the other. I said, well, you know what? Put yourself in my shoes. Like, what just happened to me with my Border Patrol? I was like, picture they kick you out of the club and then tell you can't ride a motorcycle anymore. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And you know, I grew up with firearms, even if I was from New York City. You know, I grew up with firearms, Cub Scouts, and then in the military. And I've one of the few people that had a New York carry permit.
Wow.
You know?
I didn't know those existed.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture when we're done.
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah. And it's funny because it was like in the early 90s and it's all done in typewriter. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, the man changed my life and I'll stand by him to the end.
Now these stem cells are changing your life.
Yes, and I'll stand by that to the end too because I'm a firm believer.
Well, we appreciate you, man. I'm glad we've been able to help. I mean, that's the...
And you have, man. It's night and day. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's why I got into this. You know, I mean, early on, we were able to kind of see what stem cell was able to do for people. Mm-hmm. And you're one of many, you know, not to belittle what your story is and what we've done, but you know, you're one of many that we've been able to help, and the more we can get this out there, the more patient advocates, the more awareness, the more people that we can. The
stories need to be told, man.
100%.
And this podcast is a great way to do it. It gets out there, and I don't know how many platforms you're on right now, man. But I used to have a podcast, and there's people. Some of my best friendships come when my mom, when I got taken to the hospital, and I called my friends to take care of my mom. There were two people, a couple from California that listened to my podcast and said, we got to get out of California. I said, well, I'm also a real estate agent. I moved into Texas and they ended up taking care of my mom while I was, yeah.
I mean, that holds them.
Yeah, so there's a reach, there's a big reach out in podcasts because millions of people will hear it. There's millions of podcasts. And let me tell you, the one thing about having a podcast, which you need to do if you want it to be successful, is keep on putting out podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Keep putting them out. Keep it. And everybody's like, well, why didn't you finish your show? Well, my co-host died of cancer. You know, and it was my show, but he was the damn star.
Oh, man.
Well, next time you're back over this way, we'll get you on and
absolutely.
You know, we can kind of monitor your progression and see how you've improved and just take it from there.
Absolutely.
So thank you, man. We appreciate you coming out and doing this, and I'm glad we've been able to help.
Me too. This is amazing. Like I said, I can't talk enough about how great these treatments are.
Good. Tell your friends.
Just listen to that.
Tell your friends.
Yep.
Tell your friends' moms.
Yeah.
Gary, we'd like to give you a little gift for coming on the show. Here you go. Open that up.
I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, just a little something.
Yeah. I should have wrapped it up.
I mean, it wrapped itself.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Awesome.
Yeah.
Keep you hydrated.
Yes.
Keep you hydrated and then show the brand a little bit.
I spread the word, man.
And definitely, I know
this is awesome.
I know you are traveling. I know you are traveling right now, but make sure you do stay hydrated. Mm-hmm. You know, take care of yourself because that's only going to make what we do more beneficial.
This is perfect. You know why? And you can ask my girlfriend. Everywhere I travel with in my truck, I got a cup full of ice and ice water.
There we go.
Always have ice water and a case of water in the back. And I was down here in our rental. I was like, I got no water. I got no water. And I kept seeing this box there. I thought there was a box for the microphones. I was like, why didn't they take that out?
It's coming.
Surprise.
Dude, this is awesome.
Surprise.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Well, guys, thank you for listening to us. And Gary, we want to say thank you. Ben, keep doing what you do. You can find us now on YouTube. We're going to be dropping episodes every Friday at 8 p.m. We started an Instagram, named Cell Talk Podcast. Along with that, we have Facebook, LinkedIn, different social media platforms. I'll let Ben give you the email and phone number if you want to reach out and get some more information and possibly get some treatment.
Yeah, I mean, our primary email is going to be info@pbstemcell.com. Or if you want to get a hold of Christian at pbstemcell.com. Mm-hmm. Office number 561-532-7743. Hit us up.
And Gary, I'll let you, do you have an email in case anyone needs some security or anything?
Yeah, my email is really simple. It's gbrugman at brugmansecurity.com. And I'm on Instagram, gary.brugman. You can get me there as well. And phone number 210-902-9995.
Perfect. Well, guys, it was a pleasure. That was a great chat, and hopefully we can do that again next time you're in town.
Guys, I can't thank you enough. Last time you picked me up and brought me over here, the whole treatments, dude, I'm in your debt. This is awesome.
No,
Thank you.
No, man.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody for watching.